Good afternoon. This is Tim bringing you words of grace from Rockefeller Center. Behind me is NBC Studios' Today Show, where they filmed the Today Show, and giving another answer to that question that's kind of bothered us for ages, and that is, why do bad things happen? And we're doing this here because of a story that's kind of definitely front and center in the news the last few weeks, and yet it probably won't be in a few more weeks, though another one similar will take its place. If Matt Lauer were to come to you and say, why did all this bad stuff happen to me? Why am I losing my family, my job, my reputation? What would you say? Well, you'd have to say you deserve it, right? It's happened because of the way you've acted. The principle there in the Bible is that you reap what you sow. And it's one that God definitely teaches. You think of King David and his immorality, his violence, even committing adultery, using his position of authority to bring a lady and commit adultery and kill her husband. Horrible things. And then later on, you see the same things happening to him in his life. And if you were to ask David, as he's seeing sons kill each other, and one of his sons actually committing adultery with his wife openly, you say, David, why does that happen? Well, he would tell you, because they learned it from me. I'm reaping what I sow. In your life, too, times when you're facing bad times, bad things, you would have to agree that the answer is that you are reaping in kind to the sins that you've committed. Do not be deceived about this. Whatever you sow, you'll reap. I would like to give a few clarifications on this one. I think we need to. First of all, that's not always the case. It's not the only answer to this question, right? Sometimes you do reap what you sow, but there are other times you're going through a bad situation, and it's not because of that. It's because of any of the other answers that I'm given. So you reap what you sow, but that's not always the case. You think of Job, right? And that's a big point of the story of Job. They kept finding fault with him, his friends, and saying, you're facing difficulty because of what you went through, because of your sin. And they were wrong. That was not the case with Job. And so this may be the case at times, but it's not always the case. Secondly, another important thing is sometimes we think of this and we think of a vindictive, hateful God wanting to zap us, but that's not the case. It's when He allows us this, He does it out of love. Right? When we reach out and touch the flame, at times that pain He allows in order that we would not touch the pain again. He knows what's bad for us, and He knows that we need to be freed from that, and so He allows the pain in order to keep us from sinning again, from destroying us. And then the third clarification is that His children, those who are Christian, born again, we may reap what we sow, but we do not reap eternally what we sow. You reap the temporal consequences for your temporal sin, but Jesus on that cross reaped the wrath of God, the eternal wrath that you and I deserve. And so we should not struggle with the guilt from our past sins. We should confess them, forsake them, and then remember that Jesus has died for them. I do not need to continue to beat myself up for what Christ has already endured on the cross. With those clarifications, I think it is, though, good to remember this fact. Sometimes the bad things are happening as a way that God gets our attention and helps us stop them, helps us discontinue the really self-destructive process of sin. Be not deceived, my brothers. God is not mocked. Whatever a person sows, that's what they will reap.